Hey guys, and welcome back to Musings of Maverick, where today we're going to be rewatching BanG Season 1, Episode 2. So, I put up the first episode, and so far the copyright status seems to be solved out. It was copyright claimed, but at least they didn't take down the video, and it's only been claimed. So, some ads might show, which would go to the original owners. For me, that's okay. I don't monetize my videos anyways. So, yeah, all things seem to be going well. And hopefully I can crank out the next few episodes immediately. So, without further ado, let's just get right into the next episode. Okay, and 3, 2, 1, play. I also might cut up the videos, do some editing. We'll see. We'll see. So she definitely likes or wants to be in a band as well. But of course, Arisa being Arisa, she has to show off some of her Sun tendencies. It always gets me how Kasumi can just barge into somebody else's home. But more on that later. Let me skip the opening first. And so begins Kasumi's journey of eating at other people's houses. So one thing I don't really get, actually, is, from this episode, we know clearly that she does have her own little room, right? But later on, she cleared out the warehouse in order to, have that place as sort of like her own, her secret base, her secret room. But I've always been curious as to why that was the case. Bandori. I think the explanation given to why she puts those stickers everywhere is that she's bad at directions, so she uses that to guide her way home when she was a little girl. I'm not sure if that's true or not. That might have been just some fan theory. I don't think they ever properly explained why she put those stickers there. And rewatching it, it's nice to see this foreshadowing of the relationship between Saya and Natsumi. Love that little expression change. Especially considering what we later knew of Saya. And the facial expressions there are very on point. Prey discovered. Like, seriously, look at how Kasumi just so casually exhibits skinship with someone she barely knows to be. Well, I guess to be fair, she has been in class and in school for quite a long time already. So she does know of Rumi and they've probably interacted before. But if she doesn't even knew about her dialect, then probably they've never really talked before, I guess? I love her antics so much. Right, so this is the part that... No, I don't know... They don't really give any explanation why Arisa is trying to clear out this warehouse. Like, we know that she's doing it so that she can have a little space for her own, but why though? She already has her room, the house that her grandma has seems to be fairly large as well. Is it just so she can have more privacy? Right? If it was in the past, the uh, from the original light novels, then the in-universe explanation would have been that space probably was occupied by her father, who was, like I said, the owner of Random Star. And so in that case, it would kind of make sense. But here, don't really know why she wants that little secret base. That is quite an expensive guitar, for a beginner anyways. Well, I guess you can just call it repayment for breakfast every morning, right? And so you're conquered by the smile. I love this, the subtle change here, right? Because a few scenes ago, we saw them walking, and this was their distance, right? And now, a few scenes later, we show them walking essentially side by side with each other like this. So, a very nice contrast, showcasing their relationship. In this scene, you can definitely see why some people have some issues with the animation. Their faces definitely look a little weird here, right? To me, it's not that big of a deal, but it is noticeable. Oh wait, stuck them into the places she liked? I'm not sure if I quite believe that. Why would you stick... What can you like about a fence, right? But, oh well, it doesn't really matter. Ah. You know, not only is it such a shitty latch, but I mean, sorry, not a shitty latch. The handle is shitty, but the latch is shitty as well. Because normally, if the handle just falls off, you're not supposed to let the contents fall out also, right? Fun fact, this music shop is actually also a real life place. At least there was a real life reference for this shop, which Emily also had a tour of, and I believe that video is on YouTube as well. Guitar Ghetto. Right? They say it. She says it's her room now, but she still sleeps within the house, right? So again, not really sure why she wanted this room in the first place, but oh well. And like I said, right, so this place has obviously already been furnished. So it must have belonged to someone else before. And that's why I don't know if we're ever going to have a in-universe explanation for this, considering that they retconned the story, but originally I would expect it to be Arisa's father's room. So you got the guitar and the girl. Yay, it's done. I recall there's a little bit after this as well, so see you guys in just a second. I love how she's like, I want to perform here, even though she doesn't even know one note of the guitar yet. And so now we go into Rimi's arc. So that was episode 2 of Bandori Season 1. I think I've touched on most of the points I wanted to touch on within the episode already. The highlights for me were definitely the scenes where you see Saya's facial expressions when Kasumi mentioned she was going into a band, as well as showing how Kasumi's and Arisa's relationship were how the relationship got better, with some subtle hints such as them walking closer and closer together, or the facial expressions of Arisa. So I guess the only pressing question I have would be what I mentioned, and that is in why Arisa wanted to have that warehouse or that basement as a place of her own. So they never mentioned why she wanted to do it. They never mentioned why there was a basement there in the first place. Like I said in the original light novels, before they retconned the whole story, then there would be an in-universe reason. It probably belonged to, well, in the original light novels and mangas, Arisa was kind of a, a neat, right? A weep. Well, not a weep, but basically an otaku. So she liked to play games and didn't like to go out. And so having a little basement to herself would make sense, right? Um, but since they retconned that story, I'm not sure if they will ever go back and expand on what is essentially the current lore of Bandori, because there's not an overarching story anyways. It doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things. This is more about story to story to story, and maybe their interactions and relationships with each other. So not the biggest of deals, but I, from a personal standpoint, would have liked to know more about that place and about Random Star as well. That about sums up this episode. Hopefully, I changed some settings, so hopefully this one will not get copy striked as well. And if this one is okay, then it's smooth sailing from here. Anyways, that has been episode 2 of Bandori Season 1. This has been Mavri, your host, and I'll see you guys next time.